It was a quiet Friday night in Marina, California. It started raining around 10 p.m. The winds were howling. Cars were driving by on the road, splashing muddy water onto the sidewalks. People were in a hurry to get back home after the end of a rough week of hard work to a relaxing weekend to come. Donald Scott was exhausted. He desperately wanted to get home himself, but unfortunately, he had been stuck in traffic for a long time now. When he eventually got home, it was extremely late. Everyone was sleeping. He quietly closed the door, took off his coat and hat, and hung them up on the stand. Breathing heavily, he continued on with his usual nightly routine. He took off his shoes and hurried to wash his hands. He spent a long time scrubbing his fingers and nails under the tap. He splashed the cold, soothing water on his face and wiped through his hair. It was raining more heavily now. Thunder flashed through the curtains every now and then, brightening each room. Donald checked on his children. His 17-year-old daughter was snoring in bed, and his 13-year-old son was sleeping sound. Not wanting to bother Evelyn, his wife, to prepare dinner for him so late, he creeped into his bedroom, emptied his pockets out on the dressing table, and fell asleep beside her. When Donald woke up the next morning, it was still cloudy, but the warm rays of the sun occasionally passed through the gloomy skies. Just like every Saturday morning, he freshened up, put on his robe, and went down to the kitchen for breakfast. He found Evelyn whipping up some pancakes and brewing steaming cups of coffee. Daisy was sitting at the table with her magazine, and Alan, where was he? "Good morning, everyone." "Morning, Dad." "Morning, sweetheart. What time did you get back home last night? I fell asleep waiting for you." "Around 12 o'clock? Where's Alan?" Donald said, opening up the newspaper. Eva looked back at him. "No, it must have been later than that. I remember last checking my clock at midnight." "Then maybe 12:30. I had some extra work at the office, and then I got caught up in traffic." "You should have woken me up. You went to sleep without dinner. You must be starving." "Alan is in his room. He'll be down in a while." Daisy finally put down her magazine. "Nope, it couldn't have been 12:30 either, because a couple of my friends and I were studying on the phone last night. I came out to grab a snack half an hour after that, and you still weren't home." Evelyn brought over the food and sat down. She passed a glance at Donald as she served everyone. "What's wrong, Don? Is everything okay? You look pale." She asked, worried as she placed her hand on her husband's forehead. "You're burning up. Did you get wet in the rain last night?" "Don't worry about it, Evelyn, just a mild fever," Donald said, trying to focus on the article he was reading. "So Daisy, have you chosen which colleges you want to apply to?" "Right, about that. Dad, please, 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 can we move to Los Angeles? The BII University is the best university in the entire country." "Don't look at me like that, young lady. Why don't you get accepted there first, and then we'll see." "I heard maybe if you become a itsy-bitsy donor, then..." "Daisy, not now. Your father needs rest. Let me get you some medication, Dawn," Evelyn said, running to the cupboard. She brought back some pills and handed it to Donald. "I hope this isn't the beginning of something terrible. I was feeling strange when I woke up this morning." "Feeling strange?" "I slept horribly last night. I had an awful nightmare. It was so dreadful. I saw a murder." Donald suddenly choked on his coffee and put the mug down. "What?" "I told you it was horrible. A cold-blooded murder in the middle of the night." Daisy chuckled. "Whoa, Mom, I think you've been watching too many of those crime dramas. This is crazy. What else did you see?" "It was crazy. I felt like my heart would jump out of my chest in my sleep. It was so vivid. I suffered through everything, Dawn. I couldn't even move. Talk about a serious attack of sleep paralysis." "It was nothing but a silly dream, Evelyn. Don't bother about it." "Yeah, but what did you see, huh?" Daisy laughed. "It was Franklin, your dad's business partner. It started off in a fight until the actual incident occurred." The conversation was vague, but I think Franklin had alleged your father of frauding him and taking money out of the company's bank account. What? Wow, you mean it was Dad? And the Franklin that came over on Christmas last year? Yeah, that Franklin. Like they say, nightmares are a load of nonsense. Why hasn't Alan come down yet? Come on, Mom, please, tell us the whole dream. What happened? It was late at night, and I think your dad and Franklin were driving somewhere. They had just signed a new contract with another customer. It was your dad who offered to celebrate, and Franklin agreed to go to this bar by the shore. It was on the way when they were discussing their business plans when things began to get out of hand. Franklin stopped the car and went out for a smoke. And that's when your father took the chance and lunged a knife in his back. Yikes, sounds like you pulled it out of a movie. Donald shook his head, continuing to read the newspaper. For goodness sake, Evelyn, do you really think I'm that evil? No, of course not, and you didn't even hear the rest of it yet. This is what I was telling you, it was so horrifying. Do you think I'm making this up? But you're right, it was just a silly dream. Then what are you waiting for, Mom? What else happened? You dragged Franklin to the trunk. Your hands got all stained. You drove the rest of the way to the shore, stopping over the bridge where you dropped him down. I can't stress how frightening it was to watch you do something like that. After that, you just got ready and returned back home. Everything was a haze after that until the police came knocking on our door in the morning. They had apparently found Franklin's remains and the murder weapon, a pocket knife. And Dad always carries a pocket knife. They were suspecting your father. Really? Now you two, mother and daughter, have lost track on reality. How often do you have these dreams again? Well, I've had many dreams, but this just shook me up. They searched the house and his belongings when one of them noticed your father's pocket knife. And here's the thing, this was the part I knew your father had to be innocent, the only relieving part in the whole episode. Donald put down the newspaper and looked at his wife curiously. What's that? The pocket knife that the police found was a clip point. But Dad's pocket knife is a Tonto point. Right, so the knife that the police found was not your dad's. Daisy poured a heaping load of maple syrup on her pancakes. I wish I had dreams like that. It's like watching a murder mystery movie in your dreams. All I ever see is black darkness of bored doom. Strange indeed. Now tell me this. Have your dreams ever come to be true before? Like a sign of bad luck? Not that I've noticed in all these years. Why? Actually, now when I think about it, it doesn't seem so silly anymore. Maybe it is a sign of bad luck. Because I did meet up with Franklin last night. He came over to speak about some business-related matters that I won't get into with you guys, but he was behaving quite odd. It seemed that something was bothering him. He told me he had to meet someone, but by the look on his face, I got this strange suspicion that something wasn't right. I offered him a ride, and he was leading the way, so I really didn't know where I was to drop him. It was in the middle of a lonely road that he told me to stop the car, and he got off there. When I asked him where he was planning to go, he didn't answer me. I left him to his wishes and returned home. So perhaps I was home a little later than I thought. I was exhausted last night, but after I got home, I got a little worried after leaving Franklin there. What did he need to do there? Who was he going to meet? Why was he so nervous? I hope he didn't get involved in any dirty business with our rivals. Evelyn shook her head, munching on her pancakes. You don't think he's in trouble, do you? Well, I hope not. You know these small-town roads can be very dangerous. Who knows who you might encounter? Just then, Alan ran into the kitchen. Good morning, everyone. What's up, Alan? Where have you been? I was working on this project for school. I made a wooden pyramid, but I'm not done yet. You're not done? You should have breakfast first. It's really difficult to carve the wood when you don't have wood carving tools, and you have to do it with ancient, rusty, dusty tools. I'll have my breakfast in my room as I finish my project. It's a good thing that it's Saturday and Dad's home." "What? Why?" Alan quickly went upstairs to his parents' room and grabbed his father's pocket knife from the dressing table. He rushed back to his room and got back to finishing his pyramid. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, echoing in the house. There was a knock on the door. Evelyn went to check who it was. "It's the police." Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.